final session on day 3 of ECC's 5th Professional Development Institute. Mrs. Kemesha Swaby, and her topic, fostering children's resilience through traditional play. So, let us all prepare ourselves for this presentation, and I truly appreciate you all sitting down patiently, waiting. Just an announcement or a reminder that there should be no eating or drinking whatsoever within this room. No eating, no drinking, no feeding of the children in this room, any at all. All right? Thank you. Let us make Mrs. Swaby welcome. We want her to feel more relaxed because she did a run come, so give her a little more clap. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. No, honestly, my sincere apologies, but I called Nicole, I think, all along the way to say, I'm here, so no, I really want to be there for this presentation. You know, every time you're doing something, you might have a challenge, but it's just about ensuring that you do your best to meet the challenge. I'm just checking if you have my presentation loaded. There we go. Thank you. So, you've been told my name. I'm trying to have it downloaded here as well. Okay. And so I'll be looking at fostering children's resilience through play. And I walked in with a bag of things because, of course, I, as a parent, know that when you have children, you have to have all kinds of things. And this is a parenting track. So I assume that we have some parents, and we have some parents by proxy, our educators. Yes? Good. So I just press the green button. Awesome. So we'll be doing a quick introduction. We'll talk about understanding resilience. We look at play in childhood development and also some practical strategies for encouraging traditional play. Now, it is important that whenever you're speaking to any audience, you let people know who you are, right? Why am I being asked to do this? If you were here at the session on Monday, someone introduced me as parent extraordinaire. But I believe that it is indeed my favorite title, being a mother to 2 children, Alexander and Ava. I am also an educator, so I served for years as a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, and I was one of the commissioners on the Early Childhood Commission, in fact, chairing the Training, Research and Development Committee. And PDI would fall under that committee, and I was always excited when we were doing that. I'm a research consultant and a communications professional as well. Sometimes when I start speaking, because people don't know how I look since it was a radio voice, some people might say, her voice is familiar. If you listen to the radio station with Cliff Hughes, I used to co-host with him nationwide at 5 for about 5 years. But when the pandemic came and I had a little baby, I had to take some time off from that, and I haven't gone back since. Right. So, ultimately, when we think of what you do as educators, what you do as parents, your most important objective is achieving education, right? And Dr. Maria Montessori says to us that education is a natural process carried out by the child, and it is not merely acquired by listening to words, but by experiences in the environment. So that simply tells us that, listen, children need to do what? Play. Because, especially for your cohort of young people, it's not academic work that they're most concerned about. Sometimes some of you can't even get them to sit still, right? But they want to play. They want to play because children have the natural inclination to play, and that is how they learn about their environment. That is how they learn about what is good or bad, because they have to test the boundaries and then we give a correction. True? That is it. So when we think of resilience, What does it really mean? Simply put, it is the ability to bounce back from challenges and adversity. When we think of our children, we must understand that building resilience is the ability to adapt well to adversity. And the data indicates to us that many of our children in Jamaica, they face some challenges, and resilience might be very important for them, including things like, you've all heard about ACEs, right? Adverse childhood experiences. You could teach me a lot about what that means and how you see that manifested in your classroom. But unfortunately, sometimes by just going about their communities, by something that they're seeing on TV, our children can be exposed to something like that. And so it is incumbent on us as the adults, the community of caregivers around any child, to ensure that we try to build their resilience. And play is an important part of trying to do that. So resilience speaks to the ability to adapt to adversity, trauma, tragedy, or even threats. When we think of that, we must also think that we can help our children manage stress or feelings of uncertainty or anxiety through play. And I'm going to talk about how we do some of that utilizing the data. What we know is that resilience helps our children navigate life's challenges. And we have all across the world been talking about an important aspect of health, mental health, right? And play is important to enhancing a child's mental health, because one of the things that play does is it enhances their adaptability and their resilience. When we think of a child who is resilient, these are some characteristics that we can think of. Their adaptability. Are they able to regulate their emotions? Do they have problem-solving skills and social competence to be able to navigate a diverse amount of spaces, to be able to meet with different people, talk with different people, play with different people? One of the things I love to see about children is that in any space you bring them, there will be adults and children, and they're always going to find somebody who's just about their size to start playing with. True or false? If you go to a restaurant, you don't know the people sitting over there, but the children are going to play. They don't care that they know each other or not. You go to the beach, they don't care who that child is, where they're from. They just know the universal language of childhood, which is play, and they're going to figure that out. So that adaptability and that ability to have social competence in a variety of spaces is extremely important. Now, each of these characteristics can be learned through play. Any of you can think of any ideas how we can learn any of these through play? Anybody? Any of them? Sure. Mm-hmm. 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 Fantastic. And you can pull on that song from Daniel Tiger. You can take a turn and then I'll get it back. You can take a turn and then I'll get it back. Simple as that. And the children would have started to learn how to solve their problems. But let me go down to the building blocks. What do building blocks teach us as children? To build? Yes. Yes, don't shush him. I like that. He answered my question. To build. What else? To balance, right? Because I have to put them up and I want them to stay. But what if we don't have a stable base? Everything is going to topple over. Okay. But as a child, as I'm learning, what do I need to do? Try again. And because the blocks will keep toppling and toppling, one of the things that is happening is a child will be building up their frustration tolerance. So when they're small, you might introduce them to the blocks at, let's say, 6 months or so, and they start just banging them together. No concept of stacking the things up. But eventually, they figure out how to stack 2 blocks, and then 3 blocks. And as they grow, some of you know, you might have one child in the classroom who wants all the blocks to themselves to stack right up, to build a tall, tall tower. Okay? But a child being able to build a tall, tall tower didn't happen overnight. It's not just about their fine motor skills. It's about their resilience. Because that child, with their scientific design, would have had to go through lots of trial and error to know how to stack 5 blocks, 10 blocks, and then 20 blocks together, right? And some of you have the magnetic tiles or so in your classroom, and you know that you have to figure out how to build the shape if you want it to stabilize, or you have to just lay them flat on top of each other, right? And then you start challenging children a little bit more by giving them some different kinds of blocks, some that have different geometric shapes, because now the frustration tolerance is a little higher. So now you have to build that resilience even more by making it even more difficult to stack the blocks. Perhaps what you do is you weigh down some plastic bottles, like the Pepsi bottle that have the ridgy bottom, because it's not a flat surface. And you have to figure out how you're going to build that and let it stand up, right? So you, by virtue of doing those small activities, are contributing to the development of resilience through play. Because you're building up the frustration tolerance, some patience, and making a child familiar with error. Knowing that they can make a mistake and knock a block down, but they simply need to try again. And that errors are a part of life, mistakes are a part of life, and we're going to build it up. But my teacher friend over here, one of the first things she said was learning to play. Now, I tried to find my English version of this book, and I couldn't find it. So my son probably has it somewhere, but this is the same book, the Spanish version. It's called The Play Date. And it's about 2 children whose parents have organized a play date. Show up, ring the doorbell, because we're going to play. But suddenly, she starts to feel nervous, right? And her mommy says to her, "Es normal que te sientas nerviosa." It's okay. It's normal to feel nervous. But this is what we're going to do. We just take a deep breath and we go in, because it's your friend. Friend greets them at the door, big smile. He's excited for his friend to come. They take off their shoes and put their shoes together, because social competence. You know that, especially us as Caribbean, Jamaican people, we don't have everybody wearing their shoes in our house. So then they sit and the parents chat, and then they start to play. They're playing well with the cars on the ramp. And then he decides to shout at his friend, because much like children at this age, 2.5 to 3 years old, after a while they remember that this is mine, 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 mine. And I no longer want to share. So I'm going to renegotiate the sharing contract, but I do not have the right words, so I'm just going to grab it from you. Okay? Because my capacity for calmly engaging is over. But if you grab it and then your parents say, no, we're sharing, we're playing, might not have the words to tell them that I'm extremely angry about that. Because from my little world, this toy car is the most important thing to me right now, and you're telling me that I can't have it. Without play, the child might not come into contact with this sort of experience which is necessary in life. Because I'm sure, whether you walk, drive, or take the bus, you come into conflicts with people every day just by walking. That's true. And if you drive, it's worse because you know that certain vehicles that usually carry red plate and a yellow and black, so, pro box, somebody said it. And so then we have to renegotiate sharing. In this situation, we had first to have a conversation about emotional regulation. That the big feelings are okay, but how we handle them is important. But also about how we share and how we make repair. Because accidents will happen. We will make decisions that are not the best decisions, but we can go back, we can say we're sorry, and we can try again. And after a while, we might be able to play together again. So, we've had some problem-solving skills. We've had conflict resolution, social competence, and for the little girl, she at least had to be adaptable in that she was willing to play again with her friend, and her friend whose house they were at had also to be adaptable because he had to learn again to share his materials with someone else. So, all of this was learned through play. We don't sit children down all the time and give lectures about conflict resolution and expect everybody to grasp it at the same time. They actually have to interact with the conflict and then be equipped with the tools by the adults to help them navigate that conflict. And that builds up the resilience. So it is likely that the two children the next time will know how to play better with someone else. And perhaps someone said to them, oh, you know, you can take a turn and then you get back. And you know how it is when they reach 3.5, 4, and they feel like they're big children, they start giving the smaller children the instructions on how to play, correct? I can only share it from my perspective as a parent because that's what I'm seeing right now. But another thing I didn't say is that during the pandemic, as an educator, as a new parent, I actually hosted a small learning pod at my home. Used all the 12 standards we could find from the ECC because we had to make sure that we were making sense. We had trained, certified early childhood educators. We ended up with 2. We employed 2 educators, both of whom have gone on out to other schools once we closed the pod. 1, because of the training and experiences she had there, she received the job as a principal for early childhood educational institution. And so when I'm talking about these things, it's not just from being a mother, but I also operated the pod and provided all the training, found the training sessions, sent them to ECC training, online Montessori training, etc., etc. So that is where I'm coming from when I talk about the resilience and play and Montessori. So, let us continue. Dr. Zelina Montminy says this: resilience is not something we're born with or without. It's something that we cultivate and we have to practice. And it's really much like a muscle that goes into atrophy if we're not conscious of it and if we don't continually work on it. So if you're in that conversation on Monday where we talked about demystifying the idea of conflict, and that word being used to children, that it's okay to have a conflict, because a conflict is a teaching opportunity that allows them to test the muscles of resilience. And so the more time you give children to play, sometimes where you, the adult, step back and you're just in your observer role, you're giving them those opportunities to test the skills, to build the skills, to work the muscle of resilience that is being built in them. Now, play, I know everybody here will agree with this, is very important for childhood development. It's crucial for brain development, emotional well-being, and for the development of social skills. We know that there are at least 3 different ways that we can categorize play into physical play, imaginative play, or cooperative play. Now, traditional play includes games and activities, and many of these games and activities take on a cultural tone in that they have been passed down from generation to generation. So examples include hide and seek, tag, or in the Jamaican word, what is tag? Stocky pulley, stuck and pull, stuck and freeze, hopscotch, marbles. Storytelling is also a part of that. Now, traditional play reflects the cultural values and practices and fosters a sense of identity in community. So play is important for all of those things. So sometimes I was relating to someone that recently I was sitting in a space and some children were playing. And one parent started a conversation, about their child was just sat in the lap for the entire time, and they said, oh, he's so well behaved. And, nobody had started any conversation about behavior. So I took away from it that it was a sort of judgment on the other children for running about and not being so well behaved. But I then had a conversation with someone else who was in the space to say, look, we have to be okay with children playing. That's what they do. If you go into a space with children, the children will want to interact. But typically we tell them, sit down, don't do this, da, da, da. But even that unstructured play is very important because it gets them to start making new friends, having new conversations, and testing those social competence skills. So just remember that when they're a little bit rambunctious, and if you go to church or you're one of the leaders, sometimes they can't sit still because the body's simply not wired for that yet. And so they do need to move from time to time. If you think of your classes, most of the times you don't have anything beyond 15 to 20 minutes for them in terms of a structured thing, don't it? In terms of requiring them to sit down, true or false? Because you know that after that, the brain break is necessary, and the brain break comes through the movement of the body and some unstructured, perhaps, time to play. So, play is the work of the child. That's another thing that Dr. Montessori has told us. Play is the work of the child. Say again? Yes. That is what they do. That is how they learn. That is how they become the scientists, everything. That's why we have them dressing up sometimes. That's why we have them imagining what they could be and all the amazing things that looks like. It is because we understand the value of play. It is why we want playgrounds and play spaces that allow and enable the children to test, to climb, to run, to bounce, to jump, everything. It allows children to deal with uncertainty. So play allows children to learn to pivot, to adapt, to follow different paths, depending on what's happening right in front of them. So play in itself is an iterative process. And those skills that are developed over time are the building blocks of the coping mechanisms that are important when children are exposed to uncertain situations, like a pandemic. And the interesting thing is that this is also true for you as adults. You know when you're feeling burnt out and you want to do something fun. You perhaps don't categorize it as play, but that's what you want to do. You want to play. If I get boring up here so today, for the entire time, you're going to find something else to play with. True or false? You're going to take up your phone. You're going to go for a walk. You are inclined to move as well. Because even as adults, the play is so important. It helps us with coping. Oops, sorry. Right. So let us look now at some of the benefits of traditional play in building resilience. So we talked about social skills development. So these are 4 main ways. Social skills development. Traditional play requires communication, cooperation, and empathy. Because sometimes you might see that your friend don't have something and you want to share with them. Or you find that after a while, you hear Jimmy keep saying to Jimmy's mommy that he needs to bring this to school for his friend Jessica. Jessica don't ask for anything. But the empathy is being built, and so you want to bring something for your friend. Traditional play also teaches emotional regulation. Through play, children learn to manage emotions like frustration and excitement, because those are some of the big feelings. Big feelings aren't always negative like frustration, but sometimes when children behave the worst is when they're very excited about something. And their little bodies can't contain the excitement. Scream, run all over the place, spill over everything, just because they're excited and happy. But through play, they can learn ways of being happy, being excited, without it always being big, 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 big. It can be this big, maybe not this big, right? And so they learn new feelings because they experience them, and then as the adults, you equip them with the skills by helping them identify what exactly am I feeling. That's developing the emotional regulation skills. And the other thing is, you I spoke with outside about red, the 2 of you? I brought it today. So we're talking about the emotional regulation skills, right? Because remember, when we think about little people, we have to remember the skills that they don't have, and everything must be right outside of their capability. Red is one of my favorite books for my son and his big feelings. It's about a little kid who wants a cookie. Try the best to reach the cookie jar. Because, you know, you can guess the age. This child is how old? Close to 3-ish, because they're fiercely independent. Because instead of asking for some help to go get the cookie, I can do it by myself. Right? Good. Nearly, crash, bang, bump. Everything tumbled down. Okay. So mommy comes in and speaks a little one. But shame and everything, all the big feelings coming up now. I don't get the cookie. I drop. I'm frustrated. I am hungry. I am disappointed. How else I might feel? I don't know. So mommy, they're helping now. But guess what? Much like us, when one thing goes wrong, we start realizing everything else that has gone wrong, right? So guess what? My socks are down. My pants are twisted. These have no connection. 2, I want a biscuit. But wasn't this the first thing? So how we reach pants and socks issue now? Okay, everything is wrong. Okay. And so, mommy's trying to help. Just like how sometimes you're in the classroom, you're helping me. All right, come on, calm down, you know. Put me down. Don't stroke my hair. I want a biscuit. Don't you care? Because you're doing everything else but solving the problem that I said I have. So I don't need a pat down. I want a biscuit. But remember, in the moment, I don't even remember that I want a biscuit because now I'm talking about my pants and my socks. Okay. Everything is wrong, wrong, wrong. So big feelings come out like this in little children, right? Shouting, stomping. Now, this is not about you saying, oh, but that is wrong and I don't want to display that. It's just the reality. This is what happens. This is what they do. Okay. And so I am feeling like this. Red, red, red. Red alert. Now, what the mother did after, she says, oh, little one, says my mom, please don't scream, please don't roar. It doesn't help to hit the floor. I know you're seeing red, 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 but why not count to 10 instead? What are you talking about, woman? Mommy, what are you talking about? I'm upset. But you know what? Because I've been practicing this in playtime too, when I am actually calm, I'm gonna at least try. 1 has all the anger I can muster in my body. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feel a little better. It doesn't always work. You know that, and I know that. But what works is when things like this are practiced in play, children have the skills before they need to use the skills. And so sometimes the role playing, the actual dealing with the conflict in class, and then teacher intervene and say, all right, everybody, let us take a breathing break. Let's blow the bubbles. Let's blow out the birthday cake, the candle. Not everybody is having a moment right now, but everybody has been gifted with an opportunity to develop the skill. So the next time when the skill is needed, someone might just be a little better equipped because you chose to incorporate what happened with someone else as a teaching moment of play. Right? So we build the emotional regulation. The other one I talk to my teacher friends over there about is this one. Quiet in my body. Now, I'm very particular in my house about getting books that look like my children. My son is a little black boy with hair like this. And so I was very happy when this book came out with a little black boy with hair like this. Good. This is about being frustrated and calm. I won't take you through the whole story, but remember I was describing that sometimes children don't know the name of the thing that they're feeling. So he says, my tummy starts feeling twisty. I squeeze my elbow with my fingers and I feel tears. I was all dressed. So he wanted to go out on a cold day in his bossy shirt, in shorts and flip-flops. Not the right clothes, right? And mommy said to him, no man, you need to make a different decision about what you're going to wear. See, this is what he wanted to wear out on the cold day. And mommy said, make a different decision. But what is clear is, she says to him, you look frustrated. And she could talk about what they have practiced in the past. I said, and she also affirmed what he was feeling. She said, I understand. I would feel frustrated too. I do think we can solve this problem and still go to the park if you're willing to make a couple of new choices about your outfit. And so, she says, I have a much easier time solving problems when I feel calm. And then, Mama and I lie down on the floor, and she holds my hand. For a minute, I think I might want to pull my hand away, but I don't. her hand is soft and warm. Because sometimes the connection is so very important, right? And that helps him to come all the way down to breathing, to feeling quiet in his body, so it's no longer twisty, 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 twisty. All right? But these skills were practiced first in play. We've touched on the problem solving and the creativity. And games that children play often involve challenges that require creative solutions and adaptability. And play is also important for physical health. The Ministry of Health is always getting the message across. Jamaica moves. We have school moves now. But early childhood is one of the places that should have some of the most movement. You're always moving, right? But it is important for children to be moving. We know that globally, here in Jamaica as well, childhood obesity is increasing. So we need them to be playing also for their physical health. So in schools, what you can do is incorporate traditional games into the curriculum and in recess activities. So play should be a part of the curriculum, not just break time. At home, encourage, so the parents who are here and for the parents who you work with, encourage parents to play traditional games with their children. Don't just teach them how to play the game on the phone or the tablet or the iPad, but go outside, run up and down, play hopscotch, jump, all of those things. And in our communities, create safe public spaces and community events that promote traditional play. We have so many things that are happening for the big people, especially over summer. And for the children, the summer camps can get so very expensive. But simply places to play in the community, we're not seeing enough of that. Now, of course, I accept that there are barriers to play. Technology being one, because it's so easy to do this, to give the child the phone, the iPad, the tablet. My son is of the belief that mommy's phone doesn't have capabilities to play videos. I'm not changing his mind. But that is simply because I have never given it to him for that reason. Now, my husband has done it. So he thinks only daddy's phone can do it. He thinks his music is only on my phone and the shows are on daddy's phone. Because mommy I can't surrender my phone for so long for that reason. Because you don't need to do it. You can figure out something to do and play. And so, two sides of the same coin, eh? Yeah. Because technology is not bad. And our children are digital natives. They're calling them what? Generation Alpha? The ones who you take care of and the ones I have. So technology is their native space. So they must be equipped with the skills to use it. But it is very important to balance screen time with physical play. One of the ways is sometimes you can find videos that actually have the children jumping up and down. That gets them to move and exercise. Urbanization is another one. As communities continue to be built up, most places don't have any yard space anymore. No little place for two little pitney run up and down is what I heard one woman describe it as. But what we have to do then is to schedule some playtime. Make some time to go over Devon House on the lawn, to go to Emancipation Park, bring a ball, run up and down, right? And because you'll be prioritizing the play in schools, the parents would just be doing this additional thing, okay? And also, safety concerns limit traditional play, especially in Jamaica. You don't want your children outside certain times. You're worried about them going certain places. But it is incumbent on us all, government, citizens, educators, parents, to create those safe play spaces for our children. So we have the mitigating factors. Finally, play has benefits for life. Fostering resilience through traditional play contributes to lifelong well-being. When parents are resilient, when we build the social connections, when you as educators equip people like me as parents with knowledge of parenting and child development, when children receive concrete support in times of need, and play is utilized to build the social and emotional competence of children, they'll be flexing the muscle. They'll be developing the skills to be resilient. They will be equipped through play to be mentally tough in life. Because if the blocks fall over, I can try again. We've affirmed them that they can do hard things, that they are creative, that they're brilliant. They don't always need to build the things my way, but they just need to build the things through play. And that has benefits for life. Thank you. Thank you very much.
When I finish again. When you finish already.
Oh my God. One of my blocks fell, but
All right, so we have come to the end of day 3, and I must thank you for your patience. A reminder to you as the day ends, ramping not too much. Play is a child's work. So when you see them run up and down and go on with them things, probably you need to go do it too. Probably that's why we're miserable. So play helps to develop social skills, emotional regulation. It regulates their emotion. It helps with their problem-solving skills as well, and physical health. So go and go ramp with them when you're done, all right? So we want to thank you for your time. We want to thank you for being great participants. So now go on and do yourself, you know? Do yourself a clap now? Yeah, your participation and your involvement and all of that, it was wonderful. You never just sit down there and look for me. Me know me cute, but I know that me come here for today. All right? So thank you for your time. And guess what? Tomorrow is a holiday, but guess what? We still are going with things at ECC PDI. All right? So you're welcome to come back tomorrow. On Friday, too, because big things going on Friday, you know. So you need to be here. Yes. So thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of the evening and safe journey home. All right? Oh, you would have all completed your evaluations. You would have all registered for the session. All right? So you may go. Thank you. I appreciate your patience.